Offensive Dreams and Defensive Fantasies, Chapter 2. Stratus, Vapor, Ceremonial Orb. Aquarius, Sadalmalik, Alpha Aquarii, AU.10K-EF. 3 weeks ago, an event occurred that will lead to a battle to save the universe. A young man by the name of Den Han was struck by an omniversal artifact, empowering him with elemental liquescence and efflumium amalgamation. Just mere seconds before he vanished from Earth, his longtime mentor pulled a gun out and shot him. For the longest of moments there is only light, and then it dims enough for his eyes to adjust. He believes himself to have ascended to a heavenly realm. He is neither dead, nor is he fully alive. Den holds an orb in his hand containing a gelatinous substance within it. The substance alters into an ancient symbol. Twin waves move as if alive. A sentient stream of glowing light approaches him. The light changes its form, becoming a tall alien female warrior. She stands about 7 feet tall and is garbed in green armor. The alien reminds Den of what a mermaid fairy would resemble. As the avatar speaks, it guides him on a cosmic tour. The vapor has been activated by a species from Earth designated as man. Welcome to the Gifts of Power ceremony recipient from dimension PU.432-00. You have been selected to wield the cosmic inverter. The form you see before you is the life form designated as the original recipient of the cosmic treasure in your possession. She is an Aquarian designated as a morning dew species, and this is Vapor's domain. Aquarius resides in dimension AU.10K-EF. It will now be tuned to your cosmic inverter. You will become the new recipient and must assume responsibilities and guardianship of Aquarius. Den can barely believe his eyes, but he instinctively understands it's not a dream. What appears as vapor to him begins to glow and enlarge until shapes are formed. Even as Den and the alien journey through multiple and abstract levels of liquescence, he somehow is able to recall all he witnesses. The various forms of gas, vapors, liquids throughout the universe are his to manipulate. He wants more than anything to ask if he is in heaven, but subconsciously he knows he is not. The alien avatar begins to speak again. Harbinger, you have been granted the vapor to assist and aid the others in saving the universe. A catastrophic event is taking place throughout every dimension. If this continues unchecked, it will inevitably destroy all that exists. The universe has been ruptured by a tear in the fabric that is known as reality. The dimensional barriers that protect realities from bleeding into one another have been breached. A universal event of this magnitude has initiated the Gifts of Power ceremony. Only those within the universe can halt their own demise. The thought of becoming a harbinger rapidly cycles through his mind. He wonders, what is a harbinger, and what is capable of creating a harbinger? As Den and the Avatar continue to journey through the science of liquescence, different liquids from across the universe are exposed to him. He learns of a gas element which responds with near magical abilities. He learns so much during his time within the inverter. It's so peaceful he doesn't desire to return home. Once the Avatar completes the cosmic tour, it begins to increase in brightness. When the Avatar becomes too bright to see, Den can feel the inverter bonding and becoming one with him. He awakes from the incubation period as Stratus, vowing that Mr. Yazir will pay for his treachery. Ember, Kindle Ceremonial Orb. Ares, Hamal. Alpha Arites, BW.10D-0A. A few weeks ago, a young woman named Monette Lagos was struck by an omniversal artifact, which empowers its wielder with generating cosmic-level exothermic reactions in universal substances. Before she was struck by a ceremonial orb, Monette bravely defended herself from a group of men. The men believed she was her twin sister, whom they had kidnapped a few days earlier. There is a great sense of dread as Monette becomes aware of her surroundings. Only fire swarms all around her, different colors and types of fires. Some of the fires flow like rivers and waterfalls. If she wasn't terrified by religious beliefs, Monette would have noticed she wasn't burning. She holds the ceremonial orb with both hands, believing it is the only reason she doesn't feel the heat. She notices an ancient symbol of power. It resonates within the orbs. 2 horns contain the raging fire. Finally, when she accepts the fire does not burn, a single flame separates and glides to where she stands. The flame casually floats over and speaks to Manette. It takes all she has to maintain her sanity. Ares Protector has arrived from dimension PU.432-00. You have activated the cosmic inverter. The Kindle has accepted your sentience, and it will be fused with the cosmic inverter. You are now designated as guardian of dimension BW.10D-0A and protector of planet Ares. Manette's heart nearly drops into her stomach as the single flame forms into a being of light. After thinking she had arrived in hell, she screams out of terror at the avatar. "What do you want from me?" The being of light faces Manette and motions to her, as if to say, "Follow me for answers." Then the being of light speaks again. "This avatar you see before you is the original recipient of the cosmic anchor in your possession. His species are star chasers. They are marooned on the planet Ares. It is decided you will now protect dimension BW.10D-0A when the time comes." As the avatar walks with Manette, it shows her how to manipulate all types of flames. It continues to teach her the power of the flame. It is a primal force within the universe, and it can achieve the impossible. Fires burn differently depending on dimensional physics. The avatar instructs Manette how to wield the cosmic energy, which ignites an exothermic reaction in all substances. She is ecstatic when she learns how to channel a star's power to open wormholes. When the avatar completes teaching Manette the lessons of the flame, it inquires about the weapon she carries with her. "The tool you carry appears to be a weapon. What is its purpose?" Manette hadn't noticed since her arrival that she carries the chain machete with her. She describes to the avatar what its purpose is and how she uses the weapon. The avatar extends his hand and the machete levitates. There is a flash of light and a searing glow envelops the machete. Once she connects it to the chain, it warps into a cable of light. "This weapon has been greatly enhanced, and it is now one with you. It has been fused with an ethereal fragment, making it indestructible. None other than you may hold this weapon without suffering from its touch. It is capable of flaying the essence from any being possessing life. Now depart this place, and prepare your world for the war to come." Once the avatar bids Manette farewell and vanishes, the flaming waterfalls begin to close in on her. As the fiery waterfalls overtake her, Manette prays she returns to Earth. Her sister is the last thought she has before the flaming waterfalls engulf her. Grahv'te. Grahv'te Ceremonial Orb. Cancer, New Cancer Influence. Milky Way Galaxy, PU.432-00. During the last month, Xtremes has experienced catastrophic interdimensional and cosmic-leveled phenomena. His planet has been ripped from its home dimension and displaced in an alien realm. The leaders of his world chose to put Cancer's people in stasis rather than use the ceremonial orbs to set things right. Xtremes and his followers waged war on the leaders of his world. If the artifacts are activated, these cosmic treasures can heal Cancer and save its citizens from extinction. Yet Cancer's leaders chose to send the artifacts into the unknown, rather than allow Xtremes an opportunity to save the planet. Now, the orbs reside on another planet within this alien realm. The species inhabiting the planet have activated the artifacts, and Xtremes wants them back. When Xtremes activates the single celestial orb in his possession, there is only blackness. The blackness is everywhere around him, except for a ring of light that surrounds him from a great distance. He holds the orb above his head, prepared to receive its power. The symbols inside the orb fight to share the same space. A being of black force, highlighted in white light, appears before Xtremes. It morphs into an image of his mentor. As the avatar begins, it travels through many gravitational influences. Offensive and defensive maneuvers become instinctual to Xtremes. He listens and learns as the clone image demonstrates and teaches. Cancer recipient, you have activated the cosmic inverter which grants its wielder with gravitational fluidity. You have been chosen to protect dimension NU.9K-AC and be fused with the cosmic inverter Grahv'te. Your dimensional frequency is in flux and resonates in alternate dimensional frequency PU.432-00. Your planet has been cosmically displaced, unlocked. The Grahv'te will aid you as it heals all around you. Come, there is much more to learn. The avatar continues to show Xtremes all there is to know about manipulating gravity. It also instructs him with correcting and stabilizing his planet's gravitational instability. Xtremes will do even more to heal his planet's environment. Nothing will impede his world's survival. The Avatar speaks of the dimensional wars that can ultimately collapse the universe. As the Avatar warps and bends gravitational waves, it teaches Xtremes how to distort and visually impair how imagery is seen. It speaks of dimensional boundaries and cosmic alignments, planets with alien life forms and universal annihilation. It speaks of the cosmic scar across space that is seen from multiple dimensions within the universe, an event that may bring about the end of the universe. You are now capable of returning to dimension NU.9K-AC and empowered to protect the planet of Cancer. After the Avatar ends its speech, it begins to fade from sight. As the light begins to pull away from his position, Xtremes no longer exists. Only the superior form of Grahv'te remains. He can feel the pull of the blackness as its pressure increases and wraps its energies around him. The further the light withdrew from Grahv'te, the more powerful he feels. The cosmic converter becomes more than he expects. It becomes intangible and phases into his thorax, becoming one with him. Not even his trilithium shell can stop the orb. Before Xtremes loses consciousness, memories of the Council's delay once again incite rage within him. Friction, Time Ceremonial Orb. Scorpio, Antares, Alpha Scorpii, BC.8M-A7. On planet Earth 3 weeks ago, a teenage girl played the game of her life. After a long and grueling season, the team finally faced the #1 softball team in El Paso, Texas. Once it was Mireille's turn at bat, things took a turn for the worse. When the bat connected with the ball, a shiny glowing object slammed into her body and she vanished. When she opens her eyes, she is no longer on Earth. She looks around, attempting to gain her bearings. She notices she's standing on a bubble-like surface. As she cautiously takes a few steps, ripples are released throughout the bubble's surface. A voice echoes all around her, and a single ripple reverberates before her. Be still, recipient. There is much you need to know. You must be prepared to fight the threat coming to all realms. Mireille watches with unbelieving eyes as the ripple molds into a very tall alien female. The female avatar appears to slide along strings of silk above the bubble. Then the alien female begins speaking to Mireille. You have been selected to wield the cosmic inverter Time, recipient from dimension PU.432-00. The cosmic treasure will grant you hyper-accelerated speed and temporal intuitiveness. The avatar standing before you is the original recipient of the Time. She is an arachnoid species from planet Scorpio in dimension BC.8M-A7. It is decided that you will replace the designated recipient and assume responsibilities and guardianship of Scorpio. Even though she is overwhelmed and possibly losing her mind, Mireille is quiet and watches the avatar's every movement. The alien speaks of the dimensional ripples caused when time's normal flow is disrupted or altered. Most ripples are gentle and flow with the stream of time, but sometimes there are temporal splays. A severe temporal splay can warp time and disrupt continuity, shifting and altering the time stream. The avatar reiterates how important it is to navigate between the ripples, how to prioritize between the fractions of a second. Then, the avatar stops and hangs from the strands of silk. It points to a specific moment in time and speaks. In this moment, there are 3 objects. Each is colored differently. For time to continue normally, only 2 can be disrupted. If the 3rd object is destroyed or not allowed to continue forward, it may cause a temporal splay. This will disrupt the temporal flow of time, which you cannot allow to happen. Mireille understands and is given a color scheme. She chose a red, yellow, and green traffic light format. The avatar climbs back to its silk line and continues across the bubble's surface. The avatar insists that Mireille is mindful of the ripples, watching her meticulously and ensuring she is aware of the repercussions. After she is taught to create a temporal sphere, the avatar wishes Mireille well and vanishes. As a massive temporal ripple swells and flows in Mireille's direction, she looks at the glowing orb in her hand. A shiny object ricochets and bounces wildly inside the orb. She wonders if the orb needs to be held to use its power. She's surprised to remember everything that was taught, but who's going to believe a kid? Even after everything that's happened, she thinks of her mom and dad. They were watching the game and have no idea she's even alive. The temporal ripple is now a tsunami wave upon her, and it swells over her in slow motion. Mireille knows she can't stop the inevitable, but the unknown can be kinda scary. Pulse, Energy Ceremonial Orb. Taurus, Aldebaran, Alpha Tauri, PB.0BY-0B. A few weeks ago on Earth, a local gang ambushed a group of police officers at a bar. During the attack, Jonathan was struck by an omniversal weapon that empowers its wielder with electromagnetic manipulation. Even as he wakes in an alien environment, Jonathan reaches for his weapon. He finally notices the orb in his hand. An ancient symbol radiates various forms of energy. When he can't locate his weapon, he takes in the view of his surroundings. The view is unlike anything he has ever seen. The environment has hundreds, if not thousands, of glowing orbs scattered across the sky. They range in every size and color imaginable. A large orb levitates to Jonathan's position and alters into an alien plant-like creature. As Jonathan stares in amazement, the avatar begins to speak. Welcome, recipient from dimension PU.432.00. Your sentience has been accepted to wield the cosmic inverter. You are designated as man from a planet known as Earth. The image you see before you is the original recipient of the inverter. This species is from planet Taurus, which manifests physically in dimension PB.0BY-0B. They are a species at the dawning of their primordial evolution. This species is in need of a protector, a guardian that will ensure their fruition. Your essence will now be bonded to the cosmic inverter NRG. Soon, your destiny will align with Taurus, and a quest to protect dimension PB.0BY-0B will begin. As the avatar speaks to Jonathan, they journey to the glowing orbs in the sky. It informs him that each photon can be channeled to resonate differently within the EM spectrum. The avatar teaches Jonathan how to manipulate the electromagnetic spectrum. It continues to reveal different lessons with photons as they journey through the spectrum of orbs. At the end of the lecture, it reveals how to become one with an environment's EM field. There is a change in the avatar's voice. Listen close, Harbinger of NRG. You are now the protector of planet Taurus and dimension PB.0BY-0B. The war that is coming to your planet will be a universal war. It has been written that man, humans, are favored above all, and will be protected by the 12. This event will extend across the multiverse, destroying dimensional barriers and universal continuity. Each dimension is stabilized by a planet containing a cosmic treasure. These planets have been established within the universe as omniversal mechanisms. They preserve and reinforce the quantum barriers protecting Earth from alien realms. There are some dimensional boundaries that should never be crossed. As the avatar slowly disappears from sight, Jonathan marvels at the energy spheres that surround him. The spheres begin to swirl about Jonathan. He wonders, is it time to wake from this dream? If this is not a dream, what the avatar says is going to come true. Everything on Earth is in jeopardy of being destroyed. Thoughts of the gang members attacking the bar came to mind. Angrily, he thinks, Eno and Wall will be brought to justice. Intech, Imagination Ceremonial Orb. Libra, Zubina Shamali, Alpha Libre, CO.K5-E2. A few weeks ago, after discovering why the miners were falling ill, Thelaine was struck by an omniversal artifact. When he vanished from sight, he appeared in a place of nothingness. While he floats weightlessly in the void, light randomly flashes in the distance. He has a glowing orb in his hand. Inside a strange and ancient symbol pulsates with power. He momentarily wishes he could stand on the ground. Before his eyes, the ground forms. As he stands to his feet, he questions aloud to the void. Why have you brought me here? A voice answers from the nothingness. It is necessary to be certain that your intelligence network, brain, can manage universal data. You are not the original recipient of dimension CO.K5-E2. Your essence resonates with dimension PU.432-00 harmonics. The original recipient is an Amorian from the planet Libra. The orb in Thelaine's hand glows brighter, and an Amorian avatar appears. Thelaine is so surprised he forgets to breathe when he sees the avatar. The avatar resembles a 5-foot female koala bear. She is garbed in an advanced armor. When the voice comes from the avatar, Thelaine takes special notice of its armor. Your brain is more than sufficient, yet there is a neural disconnect. It is capable of great potential, though it is not operating at its full potential. Your neural pathways lack proper stimulation for an ethereal connection. You have succeeded the designated recipient and will now be synced with the cosmic inverter. It is attuned to dimensions CO.K5-E2 and the planet Libra. You are now wielder of the cosmic inverter Imagination, a conduit for processing universal data and infinite creation. As Thulain and the Avatar talk, it continues to expand his mind, showing him how to read cosmic formulas and equations, analyzing atoms, and creating designs and equipment. It taught Thulain how to process, store, and build links to the virtual dimension of universal data. The Avatar shows Thulain things beyond his imagination and speaks of a war expanding across multiple dimensions. It all seems like magic to Thulain, but he understands he will have to prepare Earth. Once the Avatar extracts glowing bands from the orb, it begins to speak again. These are quantum quartz shards that remain from the creation of the universe. They will allow you to create anything that your mind can imagine in the physical world. Your creations and constructs are not permanent and need mental stimulation to maintain their form. These shards will further allow you a quantum touch, which will enable you to interact and manipulate interdimensional particles. The shards are necessary for you to gain access to the virtual dimension of knowledge, to access the Omnipedia. Thulain watches as the sand-faced rust Avatar vanishes from sight. The light appears to fade, but is changing around Thulain. The light breaks apart into a vortex of numerous mathematical formulas and equations. The equations swirl around Thulain until he has no room to move. As the characters overtake and smother his form, he prays that he has what it takes to save Earth. When he awakes, he sets out to save his planet. Several weeks later, while briefing ambassadors at the United Nations, Intech undergoes a cosmic seizure. His body is immobilized in the physical world, and his mind is astrally projected into the orb. He is met by the Gifts of Power ceremonial avatars. Each of the avatars sit before him as a cosmic council. Intech immediately locks eyes with the Bahkrata avatar. It is the enemy he will soon face. He doesn't take his eyes off the avatar until he hears a council member talking. The Amorian avatar sits as a visual representation of the senior order and voice for the Council of Zodiac. We have met and reviewed each of the recipients of a cosmic inverter. The chosen recipient is no longer authorized to represent cosmic authority. It has been decided the wielder of the imagination will lead and maintain balance as the senior order in the physical realm. You will be the embodiment of the key, the physical representation of authority and order to the harbingers. Lead well, senior harbinger of the angelic celestials. You have now become the universal anchor. Prepare for negation. When the Amorian avatar completed speaking, its eyes glowed and Intech experiences new power flow into the orb. As each avatar's eyes glow, they each channel a different power into Intech's orb. After the avatars imbue Intech with cosmic authority and dimensional insight, they bid him farewell as he begins to fade away. Intech notices the astrological constellations above the avatars' heads. There are also 3 empty positions, yet the avatars seem to be unaware. When he awakes in the physical world, he has been imbued with shoulder badges and celestial authority transcribed around the orb.